Well, in the script it says that I have to button up my shirt for the intro, you know, as a comedic joke, but yeah, I don't have buttons on this shirt. I kind of chose the wrong attire for this, but that's okay. My pillow fell. So, today we have quite a talented batch of individuals asking for a review. Ice baby. The script says ice glue, but I know it's not ice glue. It's like Icecolo or something. So yeah, that ice glue. Let me actually fix. I just realized that was on like that. More lighting equals more fun. Today we have a talented bunch of individuals, like I said. We have Ice Glue and Yes Hi Hello. I'm familiar with Yes Hi Hello's animations, and I'm expecting something great from them. Icecolo, however, I'm not sure what to expect. Haven't seen much of their work before. We'll start with Ice Glue, Icecolo, Ice Glue. I don't know. We'll start with them. We'll see how. Their animation is called Ghosts. I think it's an animation meme, so that already gets a kind of negative points from me because I'm not personally a fan of them. So originality and creativity is kind of down in the drain for this one already, unless it can pick itself up somehow. Let's start watching the May XD. Animation meme forest. No, don't go in there. You won't come out. I'm telling you. You go down this path, there's no return. Look at those views. There's no returning from that.
Do you remember a day in October? The leaves were falling just like me when it was over. Hope to see you later when I get older.
Rude? Rude much?
I still remember the smell of your perfume. It hasn't left me since the day you made me.
Did someone break this poor thing's heart? Hot dang. Someone get them an ice pack.
Blue. I think I saw you, but I know I'm not supposed to. I must be dreaming cause I don't believe in ghosts. Yeah, I don't believe.
Oh, hello there. Animation. Hello. Where'd you come from? Hot damn. Alright. I recognized some of those ghosts. Those ghosts. Why wasn't I in there? Huh? Are you discriminating? Huh? And then she just kind of plugs her stuff. Nah, that's the end of that. The real meat of the animation is obviously, you know, during the meme part, right? Because, you know, that's the important part. Of course it is. I beg to differ. The more important parts are the parts leading up to it. So we're going to review every aspect of this, even from the beginning. You know, what I liked about this was the smooth shit, you know? It's very smooth animation, and it was executed very well. Another thing I liked about it was it's generally clean animation. There was no sketchy issues with it. It was generally just, it looked good during this part. It just generally looked good. That's all. There are some very clever background movements that only a keen eye can see. The way the grass moves up at a different rate than the trees in the back. I don't think that makes it look bad. I actually think it gives it more of a 3D effect to it, as if this world isn't just some picture. I like the funny joke behind it too. That was pretty good. Pretty good funny May XD. Nothing wrong. Nothing inherently wrong with this one. It's good. Here are some things to think about. Some of the trees in this animation don't look like they're part of the ground. They just kind of look like things in the frame. It doesn't look like it belongs anywhere. Specifically in this section right here. I would work on trying to make it look like the trees belong where they are, instead of just making it look like it's some random thing, you know? Another thing. When you have the character walking through the forest, or, well, sliding. It's just sliding, really. When you have them sliding through the forest, and you're putting them in this setting, there's one thing that a lot of animators, seem to forget when placing a character in a setting, and that's, shadow. Shadows are very important with depth perception. If there were no shadows in this world, we would not know where anything really, truly is. Shadows help us understand where a character is laid out in space-time. Space-time? So yeah, I would draw a shadow to supplement with the character in the setting. Another thing I'd like to point out is the tweening. The tweening in this animation is not, at the beginning, it's not that good for the most part. I hate to be a negative Nancy, but the tweening could be improved tremendously. I see one of the main issues is that you're tweening, I believe that you're tweening the entire image itself as its own entity, instead of separating the limbs and the body parts into different little entities. And with the way you're trying to tween, just taking one picture and not editing it in any shape or form and just trying to freeform it, it won't look good. I don't know, it just turns out to make the character look like it's morphing instead of it's moving. It looks like a morphing image versus a moving character. Another thing, in supplement to this strange tweening effect that you have, the background is very stationary. Now, if you were just having a simple character sliding across the setting, just like you did with Mr. Purple Man, that would be no problem. When you have this really interesting, what's the word I'm looking for? Effect, where the character is kind of moving fluently. When you want a character to move fluently in a background, you want that background to also complement the fluidity. Whether or not the character's animated well in this scenario doesn't matter. You want the background to supplement that. For example, when you had the main section of the meme, you had a lot of little sparkle effects in the background. The character's shadows were affected by the trees, and the shadows hardly moved, and that was nice. Also, this background zoom right here is kind of useless. It makes it look like the character's moving, and we know it's not moving because they're not walking. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the little heart on his chest changed his size midway through the animation. But if that is the case, I would recommend trying to fix that. I like what you did with the character while they were animating the thingy thing here, whatever the hell this is. I don't know. That thing. I like this shadow effect you gave where the light spots stayed stagnant while the character moved, so it looked like it was actually in a forest. But for the characters you popped up in the back, they didn't have that effect. I would recommend giving them that effect, perhaps. I do not know how you would go about that, but if you can pull that off, I would recommend doing it. But yeah, ultimately, I like this animation. The main meat of it, the animation meme part, was very, very well executed. The parts leading up to it, however, need a great deal of improvement in execution and tweening. Let's move on to the next meme. XD. XD. All right. Yes? Hi. Hello. See what I did there? Our next meme. Well, it's not actually a meme. It's an animation. Our next animation comes from Yes, Hi, Hello. Animation hobbyist who enjoys getting critiques from people. So that's nice. You're open to criticism because there's quite a bit to criticize, of course. Nothing's perfect. So we're gonna see this animation. Copyrighted music. Okay, wow, I see how it is. Jeez. Gore warning. Wow, I see how it is. You don't want me to make money. Wow. Wow. Who are you? Hashtag soy boy. I mean, well, yeah. Real men don't cry. This watermark won't go away. Wow, that's blood. Whoa, blood. Whoa, someone got shot. Whoa. I'm not quite sure what this video was meant to serve a purpose for. Maybe it's practice. I read the description and it's apparently about one of their characters who, from what I can deter, has immortality, and this is them recalling the events of their friends dying around him. I don't know if that's entirely correct, but that's what I've derived from all of this alone, including the description. And if I got it wrong, then that's all the more reason to try and fix it and make it more clear. Another thing about animation is that a lot of successful animations do not rely on pre-existing characters. They rely on creating a character and building their personality within that certain video. A lot of animators like to build, using their animation, build a personality out of a character instead of relying on a pre-existing character, like I said, or explain who that character is in the animation in a creative way, or just in general. I mean, but that's just a little ramble. If they don't want to do that, then that's all right by me. It's more of a concept of short clips and films that really get that apply to that. But if you want to take that into account, then go ahead. Here's what I like about this animation, and there's a lot to like. I like the effort put into it. It's very clear that it's there. I like the frame-by-frame animation. It's very clear that it's there. Fluidity is very nice. The timing is very nice. The transitions are great. You couldn't have done better with that. You have an interesting character and interesting traits for that character. And the controlling of action. You have a very strong control over the action of your animation. And that's because you're doing frame by frame. Solely because you're doing frame by frame. People who do frame by frame have a large amount of control over what's in frame because they're doing it, you know, frame by frame. They can control every aspect of every frame. Improvement would include that story thing I told you about earlier if you want to apply it. At the beginning of the animation, there's this awkward hair flipping. I don't know. I don't know any sort of wind unless it's a hurricane wind that makes hair move around in such a unconstant state. I would recommend choosing a wind direction and sticking with it instead of just having the hair flip-flop back and forth all over the place. Also because having too much movement in an animation, believe it or not, can be a bad thing. I've seen it many times in independent animations that people put too much movement in their animation. It's just eye straining. It just doesn't look good. Fluid movement doesn't always mean it's good. I'll just say that now. If something's fluent or something's smooth doesn't make it good. There are a bunch of other aspects that apply to animation than just how smooth it is. The sun decided to go behind a cloud just now. But this is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. There's a jump cut there. I know I use jump cuts, but I'm not trying to make a work of art, and I'm not trying to make something super professional, so I don't try that hard. Sorry, but I do believe you could do something a little different than just jumping to the frames. Oh, I'm sorry! You're all the way over here and I somehow still hit you. Another thing, the falling character, the character falling with no limbs, they're just stationary in the center of the frame the entire time. Instead of having some sort of just slight arcing movement that could make him appear like he's actually falling instead of just kind of like floating in midair. Move the entire body just a little bit. You don't have to move the camera, just move the body a little bit. You got lazy at the end. I don't really know what to tell you. You got lazy, and you said it in the description, you acknowledge it. So, you already know you got lazy, so I'm not gonna tell you got lazy. But, there are some tiny things you could have done to make up for that laziness. Instead of just having the picture just sitting there, right in front of us, make it slide. Just give it a little bit of a dramatic slide effect. It would fit into the category of this animation. It wouldn't be out of place to have the image sliding. Also, the animation is very choppy sometimes. You don't see it that well, but if you look very carefully, you will see one specific area in which they are choppy, and that is at the beginning when he is moving his arm down after wiping his tears. You see a very strange chop in there, and that's also a disadvantage on drawing frame by frame all the time. Yes, you have total control over every frame, but all of that control can become overwhelming, and then you mess up at a very small area, and it makes everything else kind of look out of place. So yeah, frame by frame and tweening have their disadvantages, and we've seen that today. We've seen how frame by frame cannot do well and perform well. Although in this case, the frame by frame was done well, but we can see here, this tiny example, how frame by frame can still be fucked up. And we can see right here in this example, how tweening can be not so perfect. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I have so much work to do. I need to get to it. I have so much work to do. My thing just turned off. Alright, time to dab.